What is up, my triggers? Eccentric Hat here. Happy International Men's Day! As usual, hardly anybody knows, and Google has certainly not done a doodle for it, let alone make a video as they do every year for International Women's Day. But today I'm going to be responding to a video that a few people have requested me to take a look at. I know it came out a month ago, but I feel like today is the perfect excuse to tackle its lies. For those of you who don't know, this is Lynzy. She's a one-hit wonder who wrote a song in response to Trump saying that it's a scary time in history for young men. Of course, Lynzy couldn't let a small thing like the president recognising that women are not the only people to suffer go by unchallenged, so she decided to take to the ukulele and remind us all that women live in a veritable war zone here in the Western world. She has earned millions of views on Facebook, Twitter, etc., and was even invited onto Jimmy Kimmel Live to spread her message of unity through resentment and shame.
I can't walk to my car late at night while on the phone. I can't open up my windows when I'm home alone.
When it comes to walking to your car at night on the phone, Lynzy, I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that men are 3 times more likely to be the victim of a violent street crime. As for opening your windows when you're home alone, here's a wee tip. Burglars don't wait until you're home alone, they wait until you're not home at all. If you're concerned about someone climbing through an open window, buy one with a latch or get windows that are too small for anyone to fit through.
I can't go to the bar without a chaperone. I can't wear a mini skirt if it's the only one I own.
You can't go to the bar without a chaperone. Why? Whereabouts in Saudi Arabia do you live? And as for not being able to wear a miniskirt, I don't think you really want to go down the road of questioning which gender has it worse there. People may comment inappropriately if you wear one, but they're liable to kick my face in if I do. Besides, grow up. People judge you no matter what clothing you wear. Whether you go on a night out in a suit and tie, or a long red dress, or a Nazi uniform, you're going to be judged. It's simply part of human behaviour to form opinions on people depending on how they dress.
I can't use public transportation after 7 p.m. I can't be brutally honest when you slide into my DM.
Unless the public transport in your area stops running after 7 p.m, yes, you can use it. The only person stopping you is yourself. And if you don't want people to send you DMs or direct messages, then turn the ability for people to contact you off. That way, only people you follow will be able to write to you, and presumably, though I can't say for sure, you won't follow someone who's attacking you. As for internet abuse in general, men get way more criticism online than women. Some male politicians get as much as 6 times more than their female counterparts. If anyone is interested, it's item 5 on my list of 10 male privileges.
I can't go to the club just to dance with my friends, and I can't ever leave my drink unattended.
Why can't you go to the club with your friends? There are even female-only clubs if you're really that terrified to dance near men. As for leaving your drink unattended, no, you probably shouldn't do that. Nobody should. I certainly don't. However, if you're curious, drink spiking is statistically very rare. In a British survey of 1,000 women who suspected that they had been spiked, only 2% had foreign substances in their bodies. So, not even 2% of women at clubs, 2% of women who were convinced they had been drugged. There's an excellent Factual Feminist video where Caroline Kitchen discusses this issue in detail, link in the description. Am I saying it never happens? No. Am I saying you shouldn't take precautions? No. But it's certainly not prevalent enough for you to base your life around.
But it sure is scary time for boys. Yeah, gentlemen band together, make some noise. It's really tough when your reputation's on the line, and any woman you've assaulted could turn up anytime.
No, see, that's not the hard part. The hard part is when women that you've never assaulted turn up and are instantly believed. But perhaps you're right, Lynzy. Why should we have a justice system and the presumption of innocence when witch hunts are so much better at solving problems?
Yeah, it sure is scary time for guys. Can't speak to any woman or look her in the eyes. It's so confusing. Is it rape or is it just being nice? So inconvenient that you even have to think twice.
I wouldn't call it inconvenient so much as absolutely terrifying when you say the wrong thing to the wrong woman and can end up in public disgrace or even a court of law.
Yeah.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
It's humongous.
Okay. Humongous what?
What?
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment? Is that what you just did when you said that to me? This person just sexually harassed me.
I said I'm humongous.
Yes.
I can't live in an apartment if it's on the first floor.
You can't live in an apartment that's on the first floor because you're against wheelchair accessibility. This is the same crap as not leaving the windows open again, isn't it? If you're really this concerned about someone breaking in, then get iron bars on your windows. You can't justify this level of paranoia, and you certainly can't justify trying to convince other women to live with this kind of fear.
I can't be wearing silk pajamas when I answer the door.
Does anyone know what this means? I've searched multiple times online to see how answering your doors in pyjamas links to rape, and most of the references I found led me back to this song. I did, however, find a forum page where nearly 100 people voted on whether they would be happy to answer the door dressed as such, and 78% said yes. Now, I know that's hardly scientific evidence, but it's more evidence than Lynzy has provided to back up her points.
I can't have another drink, even if I want more.
Look, Lynzy, you're welcome to have as many drinks as you like. But yes, getting blind drunk without taking proper precautions, like bringing a sober friend to watch you, is dangerous for both men and women. As mentioned above, there are women-only establishments if you want a night out free from men. Although don't expect that to be a guaranteed safe environment if you decided to get smashed surrounded by strangers. In truth, if you're desperately longing for the sweet embrace of Mr. Tequila without any consequences at all, then lock yourself in your bedroom and paint the town red.
And I can't make you feel invalid, unseen or ignored.
If that were true, you wouldn't have become famous writing a song about how all men need to shut up and feel guilty about some fictional female problems.
I can't jog around the city with headphones on my ears.
Flat out lie. That happens every day. Next.
I can't speak out against my rapist after 35 years.
You have the right to speak out against anyone at any time, thanks to the free speech the West has that the left are trying so hard to destroy. What you don't have the right to is to be believed without evidence. And unfortunately, if you do wait 3.5 decades to come forward, that evidence will be substantially harder to find. I really despise how SJWs try to frame this argument like one side is against rape and the other supports it. Everyone is against rape. We all know what a terrible crime it is, and we all think that perpetrators need to pay for what they've done. This argument is not and has never been about that. It has always been about whether people have the right to remain innocent until proven guilty. One side defends due process, whilst the other, feminists, fight to have people condemned and their lives destroyed any time a woman opens her mouth. The justice system is not perfect and sometimes criminals walk free, but it's far safer to put the lives of the accused in the hands of an objective jury than give all of that authority to one person. And if you think for 1 second that females wouldn't ever use that power against each other, then ask what happened to the woman of Salem, Massachusetts.
I can't be taken seriously if I'm holding back tears.
How is that a woman's problem? Are men taken seriously when they cry? Even feminists agree that men are not allowed to cry in this culture. They blame it on toxic masculinity. So make up your mind. Which is it?
Then I can't ever speak earnestly about all these fears.
This all started because Trump said it's a scary time for boys and you felt that needed correcting. If men could talk earnestly about their fears, then you wouldn't be singing this facetious song claiming that a man's only real issue is that there are so many women to abuse and only so many hours in the day.
Cause it sure is scary time for dudes. Can't text a girl repeatedly asking for nudes. Can't make a girl have sex when she's not in the mood. And what gives her the right to give you attitude?
As I said, despite men being the ones who enacted the laws against rape, and being most of the police officers and detectives who hunt down rapists, and most of the judges who sentence rapists, and most of the prison wardens who incarcerate rapists, the problem that all men share is how much they want to force women to have sex against their will.
Yeah, it sure is scary time for men. Girls like to act like you're to blame and they're the victim. Her dress was short and she was drunk, she's not so innocent. Thank God your dad's the judge and you won't be convicted.
To be honest, I don't even know if it's worth explaining why accusing all men of having relatives in the justice system to get them off is bollocks. You either know that already, or you probably wouldn't have made it this far in the video. But while we're on the subject of being let off the hook, women are half as likely to go to prison even when they commit the same crime, and men will spend 63% longer in prison than women. Also, when the Centre of Disease Control asked men if they had ever been coerced or forced to have sex with a woman that they didn't want, as many men said yes as females. Interestingly, if you ask men if they have ever been raped, most will say no. But if you describe rape to them without actually using the word, a lot more will answer yes. Even men who have been sexually violated rarely consider themselves rape victims, because people like Lynzy continuously tell the whole world that men don't get raped, they do the raping. And that's just the way it is. If people would like more statistics on how the justice system prefers women, or how male rape victims are being largely ignored, check out issues 2 and 3 of 10 Male Privileges.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, 'cause it's not such a scary time for boys. They've always had the upper hand, they've always had a choice. It's time for women to rise up, use our collective voice. The day to vote's November 6th, so let's go make some noise.
Feminists like Lynzy disturb me more than any other kind of feminist, especially when they involve children. I find that particularly sinister. They put on a big smile and bat their eyelashes and then happily accuse half of the population of being despicable monsters who live for the torture and enslavement of women. The same people they marry and sleep beside and grow old with are the same people they deride, abuse and rape en masse. That's who we are as men. That's what Lynzy and Jimmy Kimmel and the millions of people that watched and supported her song think of us. And it makes me sad that she wrote this to rally the left for the midterms, because I would probably rather vote Democrat than Republican. But people like Lynzy are ensuring that rational men and women who are not misandristic are being driven to vote Trump each election because the parties of the left openly hate men as much as any racist hates minorities. Try listening to the beginning of this song again, but this time imagine that Lynzy isn't singing about living alongside men, but instead is describing her life in a neighbourhood with a large population of blacks and Latinos, and see how reasonable she sounds then.
I can't walk to my car late at night while on the phone. I can't open up my windows when I'm home alone. I can't go to the bar without a chaperone. I can't wear a mini skirt if it's the only one I own.
Here, on International Men's Day 2018, I want to take this opportunity to say that we are not a plague in need of a cure. We are half of the human race. It's our love and protection of women that has allowed feminists to insidiously remove our humanity. To the men, remember you're not what they claim you are and never were. And to the women, stand by your men and tell them how much you love and appreciate them, because there has never been a time where they've needed to hear that more. This isn't a fight between men and women. This is a fight between feminism and the truth. And we are absolutely going to win.